All right, Grixis Kroxa. So Kroxa in this case refers to Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, one of the two Titans in the latest set. Grixis stands for the three color combination black, blue, and red. This is a base blue-black deck with a very small red splash for Kroxa on the back of some Fabled Passage and then some dual lands here, which is great. One card that I think is really interesting in this deck list is Blood Operative here. So this is a card that I feel like might deserve some more play in this format. So there's a lot of people doing random stuff out of the graveyard, whether it's you know, Cavalier of Thorns or other escape cards. Having a main deckable way to deal with that seems very reasonable. We also have a variety of different surveil tools to rebuy this and generate value with it. We've got Thought Erasure, Discovery, and then some Doom Whisperers here at the top end. So at any rate, let's go ahead and dive on into some match with this and see how our mid-range deck plays. Lazav surveils too. It does. You're right. A lot of surveil tools. Whenever someone brings up or quibbles over the definition of assault weapons or assault rifles or whatever it is, even if you think you're doing that in good faith, what you're actually doing is enabling the NRA and the right and the people who want there to continue to be mass shootings in the United States. I'm sure there are people that say those things not really understanding what they're doing, but the end result is whenever you muddy the waters and like focus on the, well, actually part of it, all you're doing is hindering proper gun control that most Americans actually would want to have. I also agree that as sad as it is to say, gun control's lower on my list of issues this election compared to healthcare reform and climate. Thanks for the 2 months, ZJ. My only strong opinion on gun control in the United States is that there's a lot that we could be doing between the very little that we do right now and taking them away. And you should experiment with some of those places in the middle. This is a free draw, right? When you surveil this into the bin, you can pick it back up right away. It's a good beat. What do you mean we can't nuke the hurricane? Come on now. Not with that attitude, you can't. We just been exiled that. Gaining the life might be good though at some point. Cheap spells are good though. They have this anyway, so I'm not gonna get to gain life. Okay, yeah, we'll get rid of that one. Climate and healthcare reform are like my number one and number two, because like, you know, if people can't actually afford to live, what good is saving the planet? Are kind of things that go hand in hand. It is a presidential election here in the United States. Yep. Do I want to draw that for free? Yeah, I think I have enough life to draw that for free. Let's go ahead and kill this. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years. He was sworn in January 20th or whatever, 21st, 2021. It hasn't been 4 years, chat. Math does not check out. It's been, you know, if I'm being honest, I forgot this was a card that existed. I forgot this was a card that was legal. Cauldron Familiar is actually really good here because my life total is kind of low from proactively getting these Blood Operatives back. Yeah, it's been an absurdly long primary season for the Dems. Iowa caucus is in less than 2 weeks, and that should hopefully go quickly from there. So this can copy a thing in my bin, but I don't have anything in my bin currently. Maybe that trade is wrong to offer. Oh, yeah, I can just copy it now? Yeah, good call. I'm not exiling the cat because they'll just bring it back with this, so. Not a big reason to do that. I think it's really, whenever people bring up gun ownership as a protection against a tyrannical government, one, if the current Trump administration isn't enough to have you feel the need to overthrow the government, nothing is going to make you feel the need to overthrow the government, most likely. Two, the government has like drones and tanks and whatever else, and if you think your AR-15 is gonna help you against the government, you got another thing coming. Like, of all the silly arguments to make, like, it's definitely up there on the silliest, in my opinion. The people I appreciate the most in the gun debate argument are the people who are like, I just like shooting my gun. It's a sport that I enjoy. Because those people are at least honest with themselves and with the people they're having a conversation with, right? Those people are telling the truth.
Those people are telling the truth.
And everybody else who's not honest like them, they sound like Declan.
They sound like Declan.
What is this parrot thing, dude?
What does this parrot thing do?
When did you become a parrot?
When do you become a parrot?
Confirmed bird. Are you a bird?
Fur bird.
Is bird the word?
I'm not the bird.
The bird.
Bye.
Love you, dude. Close the door behind you.
1, 2, 3.
Could you Laviz in response to the cat trigger to recopy Blood Operative? No, this is an enters play effect. So copying the thing doesn't give you the enters play effect. Do I so like, I have a couple of lines here. I think I just dispersed the Nightmare Shepherd though, right? Pretty sure that's the line. I would like to think that our founding fathers were smart enough that, like, if they knew the weapons that were going to exist in 2020, they would have been more particular and specific about the Second Amendment. Like, when those folks made that law, they were dealing with firearms that, like, shot single rounds per minute. This is a big, big difference. I come for your decks and blunt talk, but I stay for the Declan double riots that enter the battlefield. That's true. That's true. Well... Make the same argument about freedom of speech and the internet. No? Well, freedom of speech doesn't really apply to what you're doing on the internet with other people. A lot of people misconstrue the idea that freedom of speech means that other people have to tolerate their stupid ideas. And that's not what freedom of speech means. Freedom of speech means that the government specifically won't throw you in jail for saying your stupid ideas. It doesn't mean the rest of us have to listen to them. Correct, Drunk Owl. The founding fathers thought, like, pistols at dawn was an appropriate way to resolve conflict, so, like, maybe they didn't really know what was best. Yeah, I'm a mathematician and a software developer. The devil is in the details with things like that. We really don't have... Maybe we're supposed to add some spyglasses or some Grafdigger's cages here. Like, this isn't super... I guess this is okay against cat, huh? We don't have a lot of very good ways to deal with their cats. Yeah, this is pseudo graveyard hate, right? Enter the God Eternal seems pretty bad here against their ovens. Need 2 more cuts here. Murderous Rider's kind of bad in this matchup. Oh, yeah, that's true. Cage stops us. That's a good observation. Let's do that. Let's just bring in a couple of downfalls and a couple of Tiamets for a couple of Riders and a couple of God Eternals. So, Angrath's Rampage, I think, is a card too many people play when it's not good. So, Angrath's Rampage is exceptionally bad at killing Oven against the decks that are making food. And I don't understand why that is something people don't get. I think playing some Bedevils could be fine. Leyline of the Void is a cudgel. You could definitely play Leyline. That is definitely an option. I tweeted last night, I think Theros is probably the best designed Magic set in likely the last couple of years. I think this format is probably like removing a couple of war design mistakes away from being very perfect. Very good. I think I would be happier without Teferi and Nissa, but the rest of the format as a whole is super reasonable. So Laz has some good synergy with Kroxa here. We can copy Kroxa with Laz and then attack with it, which is great. Our Legion has ended, chat. Just looking to draw an untapped land there. So that way we could play Atris. Yeah, I haven't, my games against Simic I haven't really enjoyed, but there's also a lot of not Simic in the format. It's still a little early. Like, I could definitely eat crow when it comes to talking about the quality of the current format as it develops, but we'll see. Once we have a few events under our belt, I'm interested to see where the format ends up at. Obaduro, 22 months, almost a toddler indeed. Has Grixis been disappointing so far? Well, we're currently dying to cats in ovens, so... I really like this card. I think this card's really good. Yeah, that's great. I do think for people who have played Modern, I think the Simic deck is kind of just the Tron deck of this format. There's plenty of decks that have okay and good Tron matchups. But the decks that don't have okay Tron matchups, it just feels so hopeless you don't want to play. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison, Marty. Very similar to RNA Standard. The core of the format's super reasonable, but there's a couple of stains hiding around the edges. Yeah, I agree, Trax. I think while Standard stays interesting, my plan is to do 3 longer Standard days per week, 1 day of Historic, and then 1 day all Pioneer, with Pioneer starting in the mornings for the other days. Gonna take a look and finalize my schedule for next week here, but something approximately that I think is what I'm gonna be doing. Yeah, I agree, X. We'll see. Been any updates and then bringing Pioneer to the client? Well, they said they've made it a priority. They've added to, well, not a priority. They said they've said it is a thing they are going to be doing. However, they haven't given any timelines or said when work's going to start on it. Even if they made bringing Pioneer to this client a priority, I would estimate it's 3 or more years out at a minimum. It's a very large undertaking. They say the meta set was this spring. No, I don't think so, Navier. There'll be another historic 20 cards added in the spring, but I don't believe they gave any kind of timeline about anything specifically related to Pioneer. If someone has a specific link talking about specifics, feel free to provide it in chat. But from my recollection, I don't remember them talking about any specific timelines. This card seems real good, mono red. Are we dead? I feel like we're dead. I feel like my mana deals infinite damage to me. This is gonna come as a surprise to many of you at home, but I think there's a good chance this Grixis deck is disappointing and not very good. I know that's going to shock many of you. Ironically, Kaladesh might be the last set in Pioneer they want to add to the client because of how erroneous it is. I mean, Kaladesh doesn't even really impact Pioneer. Those cards aren't powerful enough. Whoa, do they have nothing? Did they ban any cards from Kaladesh? I don't think they banned Kaladesh cards, right? Am I blanking on a card? They banned Copter. Sure, Copter and Copycat. Okay, that's fair. I guess I'm technically not dead if I attack with this. Kaladesh, that's Kaladesh block, Zikta. All the same. And like, we kind of got run over there, and there really aren't cards. Peak Grixis is get slaughtered by mono red, and then don't really have cards in the sideboard to make mono red matchup better. Yikes. We have 10 life gain main deck cards, kinda. Like, they're really clunky and slow. Like, calling 3 and 5 mana cards your ways to beat mono red is, like, super ambitious at best, and shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how the games against mono red play out at worst. Hey, Ferocious Ferret, thanks for continuing to click that button. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Looking for lands here now. That's a good pickup. Yeah, the energy decks aren't very good in Pioneer. Their power level is too low for them to really be competitive. Infuriate. Wow, we just got double what? Oh no. Oh no. Why are you so angry, Javier? What did I do to you? Why are you so pissed off? Mostly Ghostly, welcome to Huglandia. Thanks for the Prime support. Why you have to be so mad? It's only a game. Didn't play around the triple infuriate. What a scrub. Something for the triple infuriate. Look at that. Me getting smashed was good for something. I appreciate you. Okay. That means Atris could hopefully power us into some lands. I'm super excited for Pioneer and MTGA. When we have official Pioneer on MTGA, I'm excited to delete my Windows VM and never look at Magic Online ever again. Wow! 3 shots at a land, miss all of them. Feels Grixis, man. I would be incredibly surprised if we do not see... I would be incredibly surprised if we do not see Cube Draft on Magic Arena in 2020. I think it's always better to take the 2 cards. Pretty sure it's always better to take the 2 cards. Cube is great. Yeah, like, based on how much money Cube has to make on Magic Online, I can't even fathom how profitable it would be on a platform like Magic Arena. Just can't. And with Cube, it would be very easy for them to curate a list of sweet Cube cards that are only cards that are easy for them to program. That's the key to why I think Cube could get on Arena as early as this year, is if they're smart about it, they could have someone design a Cube that's sweet, that's all cards that are relatively clean to program and implement. What is Cube? That's a good question. For people that are newer to Magic, a Cube draft is a custom curated limited format that has cards from either certain themes or in general all across Magic. So like, for example, there will be like cubes that like each color or combination of colors will have specific subtypes or themes that run among them, with cards that have synergies from across lots of different Magic sets. Hey, Brian, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, we ran into Mono Red again. How would the theme be determined? You'd have someone at Wizards build it. So there's lots of different, there's infinite combinations of ways to build a cube with cards throughout Magic's history. You just have who's ever designing the cube, like, run past what cards they want in it past the dev team, and have the dev team just, like, no sir the ones that are going to be tough to program. So, the way cubes work, there's, like, a list of, like, 300 cards, say, and those cards are, there's one of each, and they're assigned to booster packs, and you open the packs. And they could also very easily 2 birds, 1 stone it, and tell whoever designs the cube to focus on putting in cards that are Pioneer playable. Just like real clean 2-for-1. A cube with all Pioneer legal cards would be ideal. Well, to be fair, playing cube a lot and designing a cube are different skill sets. Oh, feels Grixis, man. Generally speaking, I have no interest in playing cube. However, I know lots of people out there have lots of interest in playing cube, and having that on Magic Arena would be a net positive for the platform. You see that, chat? Spatial awareness of things that I might not like that are still good for the platform. It's easy to do. Not everything has to appeal to every person. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the last one, Warlordy. Like, this feels like pretty typical Grixis problems of, like, we don't have good enough answers to play a control role, but we also don't have good enough threats to be aggressive. That's true. My buddy Ben does convince me to play cube on occasion. We did go undefeated in the cube last fall. Whatever the last vintage cube was. A lot of the same skills that you use for brewing in Constructed translate very directly to brewing successfully or building successfully in Limited. I just don't tend to enjoy the play patterns of most Limited formats, which is why I don't play them. When was the last time Grixis was really good in Standard? I can't remember. It's been a long, long time. Wow, I'm really surprised they didn't have a shock there. They were just lighting up the stage. This Standard format. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. One of the things that this build is not doing that the red-black build that we played did that was really good was it was playing Tiamat Calls the Dead with Kroxa, so that way you could curve Kroxa into Calls the Dead, which was really clean. Oh, yeah, there was a Grixis energy deck during Kaladesh. I don't know if you could call that very good, though, because it wasn't, like, the best deck, and Kaladesh was kind of a one-deck format. Alright, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, I feel like the biggest standout to me, and the way you can see, like, power level index, is that, like, if you look at this deck, and you think about the cards this deck is playing that see consistent play in other decks in this format, you'll notice that this deck has a lot of spells that other people aren't really playing. And while it's neat to have some unique card selection, there's probably a reason those cards aren't having overlap with other things. Do I still have the red-black deck in my deck editor? I do. So this is a deck that was actually the deck of the day on one of the days where we played it, and I really liked this list. Oh, actually, someone earlier today said they were looking for a Tectonic Giant deck. This was a good Tectonic Giant deck. This was a deck that had Kroxa and Phoenix of Ash, along with Calls the Dead here to kind of fuel the graveyard. And I really liked the fact that the mana didn't have a bunch of shock lands in it, meant the mana was a lot less painful. So I felt like that the Grixis deck was trying to do kind of similar things to this with slightly lower power level overall. Each very good. Exile removal in general is very good. And if you want to see this deck played, this is one of the many great decks that you can find on my website and YouTube channel. Absolutely everything that I stream here on Twitch gets uploaded to both of those places, and it gets cut up by deck, so it's very easy to find just the content that you care about. I appreciate everybody being here today, but I'm actually a little bit tired. Been doing a bunch of days in a row, and I think I'm going to come back for a few hours tomorrow too. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and call it a day for the day. I appreciate everybody who was here. I'm planning to be live about 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning with another Pioneer deck, and then I'm going to plan to roll on into 2, 3, maybe 4 standard decks after, depending on how the afternoon goes. Thanks everybody for being here. Remember, if you missed any of it, it'll be up on YouTube momentarily. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Hopefully see some or all of y'all tomorrow at some point.